1. What's up, everybody? This is Turkey Morning Coffee Talk with Seth Burnham. Did you just kill a turkey?
I did. It was awesome.
Tell us the story.
Dude, I woke up this morning and my alarm went off. I said, I ain't waking up yet.
That's what we all do.
So I snoozed it. And then I woke up again. I said, no, there's no way that was 10 minutes. I was like, do I really want to wake up right now and drive 30 minutes and go stare at a field and probably not kill anything?
It was beautiful morning, though.
It was beautiful. And I had this thought in my head and I said, you know what? Every time I don't want to go out and I wake up and I'm like, it's not worth it. And I go out anyway, it's always worth it.
Oh, it's always worth it.
It's always worth it.
1, it's the woods. Number 2, in Illinois, if everybody doesn't know, in Illinois, you have to apply for your turkey tag 4 months, at minimum 4 months in advance. You have to pick the county. You have to pick the county, the season. I mean, you have to like premeditate, look what weekends are on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then see what weekends are on it. And like first season doesn't have a weekend. And then second season has 1 weekend, and then so on and so forth. And we have 5 seasons. You can only hunt till 1 o'clock. And what am I leaving out? Yeah, like $15 tag.
Yeah.
But you have to premeditate to put in, and then you have to apply for the county, and then you have to apply for the county, the season, and then you still might not get it. But they give you 5. They give you 5 options, right?
Yeah.
So like you go Peoria County 1, which is your farm, and then you go Knox County, my farm. You Knox County 1. Like if you're like, I'm going first season when it's cold out, you can put in for Knox County first season, Peoria County first season, Tazewell County first season, and then hunt those 3 seasons, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But then, like most of our friends, they got kids, and that you're working a regular job right now, so you mainly got to hunt weekends. You have to make sure that you're putting in for tags that have weekends on it.
Yeah, no kidding. And for me too, like my wife and I were looking for a house, and we just got in a house, and so then it was, I have to juggle when we're going to be closing and when we're going to be moving in, and then my sister had a wedding, so I was looking at all these different things, and I was like, this is the only weekend I can apply for.
Right. And you guys were at your home farm, and you couldn't get it done. You said one was, you got a funny story yesterday. So let me start this out. This is LandLife, episode 25. I'm pretty sure this is episode 25. This is just an impromptu sit down here this morning. We're having a good weekend. It's a beautiful weekend. We put a bunch of mulch and stuff down at the Airbnb. It's looking beautiful. I put my wife to work. She's got, muscles that she's got to remember she has, and she's strong, and she got out there and, feels really great about getting that done for the guests that are coming. And I had to mow, and I found a couple mushrooms yesterday, and I was doing a little turkey scouting, and while getting all the honey to-do lists, mine are a little different since we're not at ball games chasing kids or whatever. Ours is about what can we do about our Airbnb, our LandLife stuff. And then we had an open house at 2 places yesterday. We had the open house at German Bliss Equipment. They had like farm days or something. Travis was putting on something, their marketing guy. Got to see Greg German. And then we had the fish there for Herman Brothers Fisheries. So Austin was there with a big fish tank, and he had like a 40-pound flathead and all these different fish, and the kids were loving it. You can check out my Facebook and see pictures there. And then Danny and his wife, Danny Borland, is Illinois broker with me under Herman Brothers Realty. Well, he was headed to the Goose Ranch yesterday from 11 to 2 because we have cabins. So if you don't know what the Giant Goose Ranch is, we have cabins available right now at Giant Goose Ranch. What do you be thinking of something that you would say like if people didn't know Giant Goose Ranch? I think people that follow me have seen it and heard it. It's 50 bodies of water owned by the Herman brothers and family. It's their ministry at the same time. It's a great run campground business that they just is their life's work. There are 100 cabins and maybe another 100 or so like campground, year-round campground people have, sheds,
Yeah.
cabin,
Lean-tos.
Yeah, like they build off of their campers, you know, like every redneck's dream. But you have water right outside your back deck, and it's not your normal campground. Yes, they do have, if you're traveling through or want to come, you can get online at Goose Ranch. Man, I want to say it's giantgooseranch.com. I think you can get on Giant Goose Ranch or look up Giant Goose Ranch Canton, and you can rent spaces to bring your camper if you're from out of town. You can also rent cabins when they're available. And then but we were selling cabins. We are actively selling 4 to 5 listings. Those things are around $120,000 to $180,000 cabins. You're like, man, that's a lot. A lot of it comes down to the exclusivity of it, right? Like, when Oak Run, where you and your family are, you know, kind of from that area, that's kind of your second hangout spot. When that is hot and you can't build anymore on that, like those prices go up. Even the lots go there. And so if you're looking for something that has 50 bodies of water and has every kind of fish and fireworks and, oh, we got the new restaurant there, and you have all these cool things, man, at Giant Goose Ranch. You guys should look it up. But we are selling cabins. You can have a cabin, and I get calls all day as soon as I promote this. Is like, I'll buy it right now and I'll rent it out. No, they don't allow sub renting them. Otherwise, we would probably all buy one, all of us in the inner circle, because you could rent it out for a ton. And that has to do with, it's just safer for how the environment is. And then you're able to control what fish get taken out, you know, because there's lakes where we have that it's like every bass that's in that lake needs to, you know, you need to take it out. It's mandatory because you're trying to turn it into a Canadian lake that has smallmouth and walleye, and they get rid of the competition fish. So if you're looking to go fill up buckets every day, that we have lakes that they have that, you know. So it is the end of May. No, it's the beginning of May. Normally we would be finding lots of mushrooms, but I think the mushrooms are done. What are the reports that you're hearing? I found 4, and I walked my best part of my timber yesterday. I found 4 giant ones, which tell me they're done. And if they were going to be there, I would have picked up a pickup truck full of them, of more on mushrooms. Big giant yellows, 4 of them. What are you hearing? Peoria County. If I was in Michigan right now, I'd be picking them up by the truckload. Michigan and southern Wisconsin, dead elms and sycamores.
Yeah, I'm hearing that people are just struggling to find them right now. I saw one guy on Facebook saying, you know, he was calling out, saying a prayer on Facebook, saying he needed a little luck so he could enter something into his mushroom contest or something like that.
Oh my gosh, mushroom contest. We got contests for everything.
We love to compete, man. It's good.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think other people would say different if they were to go like, oh, you always like to compete. Man, I don't think I've ever wanted to compete because I wanted to try to figure out how to enjoy it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're going to give me a layup and say like, all right, enter this big buck contest at Presley's this year.
Right.
It's like, well, I figured I'm 5 years out from having TV shows. I'm kind of a normal guy that just sells land now. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I should probably go over there and enter that. I mean, I went and entered it and won it. I had never won the big buck contest, but I'd won the big doe several times. I don't know. I'm not about big competition stuff.
I don't know. For me, like
you and your brothers are captain competition.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing sports. I played college baseball. Like the competition is part of what's fun for me. Like I like to fish, but when it's a competition, like when we're fishing a Thursday night or at Oak Run or something, that's a lot more fun for me than just going out and sitting on a lake. And I love sitting on the lake.
And we know it's for Mark. He loves it.
Oh yeah.
I think that has to do with the way you guys grew up. I was pretty good at whatever the 3 or 4 things that I did. Like I was really competitive hockey, but I think I would choose to play hockey and lose, but still play hockey than have to win everything. I liked the competition in it. And if somebody got on me a little bit, I would flip a switch. I don't think I liked to flip that switch and get a little crazy and could take it too far now that I've gotten a little older, it was like, you don't want to activate that part of my brain.
Yeah.
I don't mind a little competition. I love the pressure. It actually makes me play better, play golf better. Might be the might be the dynamics in the brothers. How many do you have?
I got 3 brothers.
3 brothers.
1 older and 2 younger. And the 2 younger than me are now bigger and taller than me. So I gotta try even harder to make sure I'm, throwing a few bows or something when we're playing basketball and doing different stuff to make sure I keep my competitive edge.
Yeah, that's fun. You got one that's like bass fishing every other day. So it's tough to go beat him bass fishing.
Oh gosh.
He knows everything. He works over there at Bass Pro. Just had a birthday. Mark just had a birthday, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, the big 2 too.
He's such a good guy.
Maybe he's 23.
He's got
23.
He's got me fooled, don't he? No, I was kidding. So tell us about the turkey situation. So you had turkeys you had a turkey tag this week at your house.
Yeah.
And then you've just been trying to fit in, go a little bit. And what are you finding? So, Illinois the turkey numbers are down kind of like everywhere. We have a lot of competition in this area, a lot of small wood lots. The birds are either on you that morning. Like somebody either went mushroom hunting and moved all the birds off of you or moved all the birds to the neighbors. Like we have a lot of influence because of our open fields, not very many turkeys. And when you have a 5-day season, you're hunting you're trying to hunt all 5 days. You're going to pressure it. And I think that goes back into what we can talk about in a little bit, but you have 100 something acres, just like I do at my house. They're either on that 100 or they're not on that 100. Like you either have where the hens want to be to nest, I think.
Yep.
Traveling 300 yards probably to get to their nesting habitat, maybe blowdowns, maybe some of that stuff you're doing with cleaning up some of your invasives and moving some trees and stuff like that. They're either moving on to you later on in the morning and they're out in their fields because you have no pressure during the middle of the day and you have some secluded fields, or you are the timber where they roost and they're traveling out into the bigger fields and these little nooks and crannies. That's kind of Illinois turkeys for y'all. We're not as blessed as Iowa to have a lot of birds like they have and hunt them all day long. They have the rolling topography here. If they got to be in the back of a field, in a creek, or on a ridge. Those are 3 that these guys got. And so what did you see with being a really grown up green season? Even all of our native grasses and our clovers are a foot tall.
Yeah.
What does that look like this last week?
So on my place, it's a little different because of all the work we've been doing. So when I was in high school, I saw the numbers. When I was first starting in high school, there were birds everywhere on my place. And then by the end of high school, there was just nothing there. It was crazy. Like they were just never on us. And I don't really, in my high school brain, I couldn't really understand that. But we've put probably 30 to 40, I think it's 30 acres of the 70 acres of tillable into CRP.
Yeah.
And then, so that's a more diverse blend. It's got switchgrass, Indian grass, little blue, partridge peas, stuff like that. And I got another field where I put just switchgrass into it.
Yep.
And we've been burning the heck out of everything we can burn. And in the spring last year, I was seeing groups of poults walking through our backyard. Never seen that before.
Up on top of the hill.
Up on top, up by the house.
Okay.
Just coming out of the CRP, going in, bugging, going in different areas.
And when you would see them, what size were they? The size of like a small chicken when you saw them, or when they were the little bitty baby ones?
I mean, they were like maybe 2 fists.
Oh wow!
Like tiny, tiny, tiny. I could barely see them.
And you think they were up? I mean, and you have dogs up there.
Yeah.
Was it that they would just stay in the thick cover and then come out?
They had it figured out where the dogs weren't out yet.
Yeah,
they would come out when the dogs were still in the kennel, and then once the dogs were out, we'd never see them again.
They go in the timber. Yeah. Well, I don't see poults very often. I mean, out of all the farms, out of all the places, I'll see them traveling on roads sometimes where you see them go across, you're catching the tail end of them. But when I'm out in the wilderness in the summer or whatever, I don't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see them on my trail cameras much at all. I have a raccoon problem at my farm, which is like something that needs to be addressed, but that's a state deal. Because if I took care of them the way we would take care of them, trap them all year round, let's say just up and down the driveway, just on the edges of the sweet corn patches, just on the edges of the water, you could maintain, you could do a minimized, very controlled trapping season where you're not invasive into the woods. You could legal. So in Illinois, legally, you only have November through March to trap raccoons.
I think it ends in February.
Yeah, even worse. I was giving them benefit of the doubt.
No, it ends in February for raccoons. You can trap otters and beavers in March.
Later, into March. But the fact that Illinois is still behind on the one thing that is ruining, it is the one thing that is ruining turkey season. You can blame bobcats for showing up and this and that. Yeah, you can blame them all you want, but they are a knife in the drawer. They are not the contributing factor. They are squirrel terrorists. Yeah. Like they love squirrels. They love the rabbits. But to say, oh, they got all the turkeys. That's hard for me to believe when I know that I killed 100 raccoons off my farm and did not touch them in the last year. There were 14 of them running out of the switchgrass the one day when we set it on fire. And so I think that comes back to what our turkey numbers do and leaving the food. I mean, I have shattered beans all over the ground or whatever, and I know they're eating them, but I don't know how much I can say that that's a main staple in their diet to come to my shattered beans on the ground or whatever. I know it is early for them. Like I have turkeys really early, kind of in youth season in March. Yeah. That's where those birds are every day. And then they kind of go more to the bugging and the clover and the legumes and the dandelions and the other fun stuff. Switchgrass, I think, is definitely good for all wildlife. And I know that it has had nests in the past. It's why I don't burn I try not to burn, but maybe the first week or so of April. And then now we have mowing season, May mowing season, which is going to just kill these fawns and these poults and birds and whatever. And so I don't know. I think we're our own worst enemy. So when you were in high school, you were seeing all these poults and stuff. When you were in high school, you saw birds everywhere, but you really didn't know why they were there. And then now you're seeing poults last year with having some more diverse stuff, which is your grasses and your fence row. Let's just say, if people that don't know where the grasses are and how big these fields are, let's just say big fence row type bushy, grassy areas that we've let alone and put aside. A lot of people used to refer to CRP or native grasses as set aside ground. So let's say set aside ground. Yeah. You're just go back to native and planting native, putting in the work. And you think this is helping the turkey population?
I think it absolutely is helping the turkey population because if you look into it, just a closed canopy forest, there's nothing for a turkey to hide its nest in. I mean, it's open to predation. Yep. Like that's it. And so when you add all of the different grasses, all of the different legumes and all of that stuff, and then you have it up against some native shrubs and stuff, it gives them something to kind of get up into and really get out of the eye of the
and then if you have a big oak or something fall down with these big tops and it falls down at the right time when it has these big leaves, and all of a sudden you got this big tree top, and boy, I'll probably, if you went in there and banged on that trunk, you'd have 5 rabbits come out where normally they would have to be hiding in kind of nothing. Yeah. And then for sure, the only nest I saw this year was I was on the Hunter Podcast guys stuff, and we were way away from the timber, and I was coming across this little deadfall in this little waterway that would, if it didn't have dead trees in there, would be mowed in the next 2 weeks. And I came across this little spot, and there was this down tree, and man, when I tell you, this hen, she waited till the last second to come out from underneath my feet on the Polaris. She scared the dickens out of me, and she went out, and she had to have a clutch there. So We didn't go back and look and see if I ran it over, but she was actually under a log. So I'm hoping that I just hit the log and the log spooked her, and how she came out was kind of come out with us. But that was the only one I've seen on the nest this year that I've actually bumped off, and she held super tight. And she was sitting, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So then you woke up the other mornings and you finally had some birds to hunt on your place.
Yeah. Yeah. So I took my wife out. She'd never been out turkey hunting. And so I took her.
Did she get to at least hear some?
She did.
Yeah.
She did. We were out there for like 30 minutes, and I put up 2 hens because I knew, it's later in the season. Tom probably, they're just going to.
Well, they just don't want to.
Yeah.
They either want to fight,
right,
and that's your bird, and you're going to kill them easy, or might be nice and chill.
Yeah. And on our farm, I've had more birds flare off of a Tom decoy than just the hens. So I said, I'm just gonna put out the 2 hens.
Yeah.
And so we got out there. Gosh, I think we got in the field at like 8 a.m. I was trying to make sure it was fun for her, make sure it was
the
a good
coming
time.
Up, the birds are coming up. You're going into it.
Yeah. And so we get down there, we get set up, sitting there for 20 minutes, and I hit the call, just see if I can strike something up. Nothing, just nothing. And I look down way at the other end of the field, and there's this Tom standing there strutting. It's like, oh, Ashley, there's a bird down there. Like, see if you can get the camera on it. And so it starts working its way down the field, and it's stopping, strutting, blowing itself up. And then it gets halfway down the field, and it starts gobbling. She's like, whoa, that was so cool.
That was her first one.
That was her first one. I was like, man, this is going to happen. It doesn't happen like this. Her first time. We've been out here for 45 minutes. We're going to get a bird. This is going to be great. And so it's 80 yards, just, needs to make that last little push. And I hear this thing back behind me in the creek, and it's just, something just running through the creek. And I was like, the heck is that? I was like, that does not sound right. And then it stops, and I was like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see my dog and my sister's dog run into the field, and they came and greeted us, and the turkey ran away. And I was like, oh my gosh.
So somebody had let them out at the house. Somebody, they knew where you went, and they had to go find you.
Yeah. Because with the move, we've had my dog at my parents' house. And that's where we were hunting. And so I didn't let him out when we got there, and he like watched us walk down, and he was like, you can see it all over his face.
He's been there a million times with you.
He was so excited.
But he's been there a million times with you, right?
Yeah.
So like he knew, I'm going to check these spots. Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny how they like track you? Like, so the turkey's in the field. Mm-hmm. He's going to come. Is he by himself?
He's by himself. He's coming. And
here comes your dog.
Here comes my dog. And then he like I could tell like something was off with the sound I heard, because all of a sudden he kind of like, looked at the creek, and then it stopped. And so he was like, all right, we're good, and he starts coming, and then they pop out, and he just freezes.
And up the ridge, he gone.
Never saw him again.
And then now did you see him anymore? Like, did you hear any other gobbles or?
No, it was nothing. I walked down to the end of the field just as like maybe he crossed the creek and went to the other side. Maybe I can at least, try and sneak up to the edge and catch a glimpse of him, but there was nothing. And then yesterday morning I had a bird strutting out in the field, and I called him. He must have seen me or something.
Well, if it was the same bird,
yeah,
he would just go,
I've been there before.
Yeah. Recently.
Yeah.
Hasn't even had time pass to let what I call the muddy water settle. He's got this in his brain.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens. Like when you only have 3 or 4 days and you put the pressure on them to take my wife, and I'm going to try to make it fun and whatever. And so what was because I know you were, that's the competitive side. Like it's you against the turkey. Yeah. So you got to take that defeat, and then you got to take like, oh crap, I can't believe this happened. And you take, what are you feeling there with your wife? Like, what are you feeling? Like, did you make it fun and go, oh, it just happens? How'd you take that? How did that, because that's what we're called to, right? Yeah. As husbands, newly married. How did you say, oh, well, I know you had to get up early. Like, how'd you handle that?
Honestly, I did not handle it near as well as she did. I was really, really frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Because it had just rained so much. It's like we couldn't even cross the creek because it was just so muddy and like.
Oh, so
she would have
did you
swamped
go
her
to the other
boots.
side or no?
No, I got up to
You
the
went to
edge
that
of the
little
creek.
point where we were
Yeah.
at in that bottom field
Mhm.
in the little clover, and you were still on that side, but you didn't get over to put the decoys up.
Right. So we were hunting on the side on the same side as my house.
Right, but he was on the other side of the creek, and you right?
No,
But you had decoys up or no?
no. He came in that same field,
Okay,
in the field I was in. He came all the way down that field, and then
gotcha.
he got out of there. And so I was like, well, maybe he crossed the creek. So I went up to the creek and just took like a peek across. He wasn't there, but
Gotcha.
I didn't think he was going to.
And so she took it way better than you.
She took it. She was awesome.
This goes back to why episode 24, I was talking about if you were going to take your wife to do one thing, you take them turkey hunting because they're gobbling, they're interactive, you can move around.
Yeah.
It's like 50% boring waiting, trying to enjoy nature, going, I could do a bunch of other stuff today, and then 50%, 10% excitement and craziness. You know, and when that bird shows up and he's coming, and you got to be quiet and you got to control your breathing and make the shot, or, you know, just not mess up. And so explain to me how she took it.
Well,
Was it inspiring to you?
It was, because I was like, we can't go across.
Mine would be freaking out because she's a turkaholic. Like she has to kill her turkey every year, but she loves to hear him gobble and come in or whatever. She would probably be more upset than me. I would go, we got landowner tags, or we have another spot or whatever. And you're like, I'm trying to introduce her to this. And I don't want her to think that I'm not taking it seriously. Maybe There's just a lot of dynamics there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she was great. She was like, I was like, dude, like we can't cross the creek. This is really the only field we can hunt that makes
this was our only option this morning. We can't go run and gun them. We can't go like they do down south.
There's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, do you just want to go up to the house? We can get breakfast. We can, you know, do whatever. But like, it ain't happening this morning.
Yeah. No matter what you want, the odds on us killing turkey.
And she was like, dude, we are out here. Like, let's enjoy it. Let's go try something. Even if you don't think it's going to work, let's try something. I get what
you're saying. Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, man, fine. Like, we'll just go. We'll just go.
Maybe she just wanted to hold your hand and walk through the woods with you.
Maybe.
And call it turkey hunting. And I mean, you guys are newlyweds.
That's true. And so we went up on a ridge, and because I'd seen that's where
she wasn't thinking about work. She wasn't planning a wedding. She wasn't thinking about the future. She was in the moment. So maybe that's a lesson. Maybe that lesson right there is just, we're out here. We don't actually have to see a turkey or kill a turkey. Yeah. But I think maybe to have that conversation with her, like, where you just want, you know, I think that's fun to like almost even document that somehow.
Yeah.
As a young couple, and then being, you know, Jody's killed everything, black bears and all this stuff. And if you asked her, I think she would still sit there all day to not worry about our mothers, to be able to have a cell phone if something went wrong, you know, because life's going to change on you. So as a young couple sitting there going after that, her hearing one and seeing one, and then having this fiasco happen, and she's like, how do we enjoy the rest of it?
Yeah.
That's a good outlook. Like, we're here.
And honestly, it was a huge win, because we got back to the house and I was like, you know, what do you think? And she was like, I loved that. Mm-hmm. She was like, I want to go turkey hunting. I was like, are you a turkey hunter now, or are you a deer hunter? And she was like, oh, I'm a turkey hunter.
Yeah, definitely turkeys.
Definitely turkeys.
And so when you got to wonder if the bird would have just came in, beat the crap out of the decoy, strutted around. She hurt. So she still has spitting and drumming up close. Mm-hmm. You know, the trash can rattle of the gobble. You know, she still has a whole bunch of firsts. Yeah. You know, so we can't dismiss that part.
Yeah.
I think it's how many experiences that she can have with turkeys to where you're like, you know, I saw one strut, but I've never seen him up close. I've never seen him shake. I've never heard what do you mean spitting and drumming? I've never heard. So I think even, you know, as hunters, when we talk about deer hunting or something, most of the stuff's really easy for me because I've been doing it so long and have keyed in on it and said, this is what I want to happen. So if I went into a turkey season and said, I want turkeys to come in, attack my decoy. And if they don't attack my decoy, I'm not shooting them. Like I have been there when I'm filming it, right? I want golden moose award winning win best turkey footage. Those are always how I hunted turkeys for a decade, and went with guides that went, dude, they're strutting in the decoys. Why are you not shooting them? And I'm like, well, they didn't attack my decoy. And they're like, what is wrong with you? And it's like, well, I need them to do something fun. If they did like a cartwheel and like, danced for me, I'd shoot them.
Yeah.
And so there's all of that future. You hate to have that as the first thing.
Right.
Yeah. What can I put that to? It's like, I think it's a lot with like what the youth is going through with the youth deer seasons being October 13th. Alfalfa field next to a timber that's left alone. For sure, a 3 or 4 year old 150, 135s walking out in that field and getting a shot with a slug gun, or now even 350 Legend.
Yeah.
In Illinois. Well, once they kill them, what are they going to do?
Yeah. It's completely different from when I was younger. I mean, everybody has.
I used to dream of going squirrel hunting once a year.
Everybody's got a box blind that they set their kid up in. They got a bulletproof setup. They go out, they shoot it, and it's fine. And I got nothing against box blinds. I'm a dealer for box blinds. I love them, but it's not the same.
Well, it's the only reason I even have any box blinds.
Yeah.
Is to just take my mother-in-law's heart doctor wanted to go experience deer hunting. And he's like, I don't want it to be rough, but I want to see what it's about. I'm like, you want to kill one? And he's like, no, I don't really want to kill one, but I want to see it. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to wear normal clothes. I'm going to walk through this beautiful clover, and we're going to get in this, and we're going to sit here for an hour, and we're going to see 40 deer, and you can have that experience. Now, studying deer out of box blinds in situations, I'm all about studying them. I don't even need to kill them. I like to get all that information and then kind of maybe strike with a blind on the ground tucked in, or some, more ninja style of that. Tell us about your blinds.
Dude, they're next gen blinds.
Okay, look right there at the folks right there and tell them about next gen blinds. So this is Seth Burnham. Okay, listen, Seth helped me, paid intern, study, right hand helped me a couple years ago. And he said, and I was like, hey, are you coming to help me next year? Or you just got out of college? Are you coming back to help me kind of grow this business? I've been very, very blessed to be able to have the business grow bigger than I can even do the labor. But I asked Seth, are you coming back? And he's like, well, I remember what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure that I'm not making this up. He says, I remember what you told me at the very beginning when I called you and we were talking. You said, Chris, so this is him telling me what I said, which was, don't limit yourself, or how would you put that? Don't limit yourself. Try to learn from as many experts in their field as possible, right?
Yeah, it was the idea of like, you need to build your resume of who you've learned from and not just your own experience.
Yeah, like I like to kill. I like to have things a certain way. These are the 5 cards I play. I'm going to master these 5 cards. Yeah. And when I get dealt these 5 cards, if I'm going after them, you're not going to beat me in the hand.
Right.
And there's other people that have more cards that maybe don't care on the killing side or the video side. And then you can, but they have the more of the biology look at things and whatever. Me, I'm like, I have clients that want to grow switchgrass 6 foot tall first year, miscanthus as tall as possible first year. They want to build a pond with 5 million fish that we just need to call Hermans and bring them in. Money is no object. Let's get this done as fast and as possible. And there's other people out there like, no, long play, slow play, native, Forbes, this and that. So you actually went with Grant.
I did.
In Missouri.
Yeah.
And you were there for a year helping them with all that. And that's a big deal. So that's kind of Seth's background there. And then coming home, marrying a girl you met at college, right? Getting married.
Yep.
And then just sorting out life. Now he's working the family business at the same time, trying to help me a little bit. But first year of marriage is always tough to juggle things and find out. And, your marriage is most important. So that's where Seth's at now, doing land management stuff with, what's the name of the company now?
Master Plan Wildlife Group.
Okay. So Master Plan Wildlife Group here in Peoria area, but frequents Missouri as well. And would say just, probably knows more than average about how to do stuff, and quality is very high. Again, he studied, he's helped guys that know what they're doing. So he's not going to skimp on those type things when he does help, or I subcontract him on a project, or say like, hey man, give this guy a call. I think you're getting into more like, do you think you'll get into like timber management where you can write the plans and stuff? Is that a direction that you want to go? Because I know you're big on like, I want to get rid of invasives and make timber pretty.
Yes, it's not necessarily just timber as much as it's a holistic approach to your farm.
Move right up there to that mic.
It's a holistic approach to your farm.
Okay.
So it's saying like your timber is important, your fields are important, your food is important. And then and obviously like your access is important and all of those different things. So how do we maximize that? How do we say, well, there's a lot of food to be had in the timber before the beans are popped, before the corn is up and ready. And so how are we going to allow the sunshine to get down to the forest floor to have the natives come up and burn it off and do all the things that you really should be doing if you want to manage for that purpose. And so that would be the type of direction that I would like to go.
So a grant that, if you don't know Grant Wood stuff, what's he do? Growing whitetails?
Growing deer.
Growing deer. So growing deer, I always joke. I've known him a long time. We used to do Muddy together, and when Muddy stands or whatever, and we would have things that we would do together. And so I always joke like, he's Mr. Forbes. He's always talking about Forbes and all this stuff with timber and the Buffalo system with crimping and whatever. And I think to myself, because you know how everything I have to plant's like, I can't imagine getting a crimper on a trailer and getting like, I'm still obsessed with getting somebody's property to the way mine looks because it's so perfect. Like my 100 acres has been like my baby for 5 years. I want to get somebody's property there and then let them figure out if they want to take more of this holistic approach to something. So like, I'm kind of a guy goes, hey, I want to kill big deer and I want to do it as simple as possible. And I want to execute with my children and these experiences. And I'm about the experience and how do I get them, how to get their bang for their buck and how to get their stuff looking beautiful. Then figure out more where you would come in and go, hey, we're going to remove all these invasives and we're going to, try to get the Forbes back and we're going to take out these trees and we're going to look at some of this, burn the timber and whatever. And that's not my specialty. And I go, I don't want to do that with mine. I'm fortunate. My timber that I own doesn't have a lot of invasives, still pretty. But when I get to that point, I'll go, hey, what do I do? And then vice versa, you call me and go, how do we plant switch? Can you bring your thing over here and teach me this? Well, I'll teach you this now. Let this grow and make sure, family mows it. And then, when you come back, you can hit it with this. So I think that's really cool and really diverse. So I just wanted to tell a little bit about that. And we could talk about that some other time and really get in deep with some of your experiences. But through that, I think that our relationship and the respect side of things is, I was like, hey, don't you have a turkey tag for over here at my house? Like, didn't I tell you to put in turkey? Like, I don't really want to bother you, or I don't want to call anybody for anything. That's your generation. Call people. It's more fun. Like yesterday morning, I didn't have anything to do. When we killed our turkey, we were blessed to go kill the turkey today. But back when your mom and dad were just dating before you were here, everybody played cards together and hung out and had barbecues and whatever. We have to bring that back. So if I tell you to put in for a tag, just send me a text and be like, hey, reminder, I have a tag this week. Yeah. I'm only available in the morning a couple times. But so I implore you, if you have a big brother out there, or a friend or whatever, just let him know, because he just probably doesn't remember you have a tag, because I thought Jake's tag was second season. It was first. We ended up getting it done the last day. I didn't have anybody for second. I knew yours was, I thought mine was third and the fourth season. It's come back to the Illinois seasons all over. Yeah. Jody didn't have a second one. So you were the only one left in Tazewell that I had. Cody's was like second season. He went down, hunted the same spot, and I knew those birds would be there longer. So I'm imploring you, listening out there. Most of us older guys that got the little white in their beard, they want to go hang out in some form or fashion and be part of that, especially with people that are like yourself, that are respectful of whatever. Oh, and this guy's got the greatest story of watching long duck dong, walk in front of them, giant 160, 8-point frame, end of the season where I'm like, hey man, I know you're having a tough time on your stuff, but I do have 3 deer you could kill. These are what they look like. But if this guy walks out and he's like, man, there's a giant in front of me. And so he was sitting in one of the blinds, and you got that whole experience. But those are kind of Seth's background. So that's some of his stories and kind of his background. So now I'd love people to tell you about you decided to take on this first venture that was like, maybe I can't do as much land management as I've dreamed about. I kind of got to provide for my family and figure out what I can do and what's my side hustle and how do I grow both sides of my businesses. And so the leap that you did take was, hey, this looks like a good blind company. Tim's over here with his blinds, and we buy some from him. And then you have an opportunity that they didn't have a dealership in this area, that you have blind people that we actually met at the Deer Classic, the Deer, John Bunge's, Bungie, Illinois Deer Classic. Right. And we met these guys, and it's next gen
blinds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about them. I mean, there are people right now going, hey, I'm looking for a good blind.
Yeah.
I have blinds that I like. I like the window system in yours, but I like, whether it be 360 or next gen, I like that window system, but I don't need 6 around me.
Right.
I need these in front of me.
Right.
And I'll just put curtains up behind you. But tell me, like, I don't know about the next gen, how they get a hold of you. And do you have them that people can see? Like, can they just drive to Peoria County and they come to the farm and see the blinds and get in them? Or
yeah, I have one up on our farm in a spot that's really easy to get to. It's up in that top field, so you just jump in the 4-wheeler and go down there, and it's side entry, so you can get up in it nice and easy. They're a modular blind, so they come in a flat stack of 10 panels. Okay, and you have a floor and you have a roof.
And when you say flat stack, this is on a pallet?
Yep.
So you can load the pallet onto somebody's trailer or in the back of the truck, or you'll put them together?
I'll put them together for $100 a blind.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
And then they can pick them up already put together, go right to the field.
Yep.
So like if somebody is in PA or somewhere, like my buddy Roger, he's got a farm, he's going to need a blind or 2 or whatever. So he can roll in and have a 2-day work weekend. And you can, will you drop them off, or they pick them up on a trailer, or really anything, I guess?
Yeah. It's
everything's a la carte.
Yeah. It's depending on where they are, how far away they are.
Yeah.
And then if you call me and you're like, hey, can you drive 4 hours to come help me put up blinds? Well, yeah, but I'm going to have to factor in how much it's going to cost me to get there, how much wear and tear on my truck, how much,
that's like cool though, but that's fair.
And all that. And so it's not a cookie cutter. Oh, I charge this much. It's like, well, how much is it going to cost for me to get there? Yeah. And then how much is my time worth to you? Because my
shadow hunter blinds that, technically I'm a dealer, and my turtles, everything I have they're always big. Like they're already put together. So if I was ever delivering them or somebody picked them up, it was full already up. So you're saying that you can take this bad boy, you can actually take it into hard to get to areas across creeks and back in, and then put that together there. You guys got a video on your website or even Facebook, right? Yeah. Where would somebody watch that video? You guys put one up in the field way down across the creek, and then just pushed it up. Yeah. With just people, or a 4x4 or like a side-by-side, or what?
The way it was designed was that you put the floor upside down on the ground. Yep. You put the legs in, you put the cross pieces on. And
this is the base?
This is just the base.
Okay. And then you put the 4x4s in.
Yep. Put the 4x4s in, put the 2x4s across. And then it really just takes 2 people. You just stand it up.
Okay.
And then the guy on the ground hands the panels up to the guy up on top. And then he just punches the screws into the floor and then zips them together, and you put the roof on after that. And
that's pretty cool.
Then you're good. Then you're good to go.
What size are you selling?
Sold mostly 6-footers.
So 6 foot, like when you stand. Okay, so my wingspan,
they're all 7 feet tall.
Okay, all of them are 7 foot tall. So if my wingspan's 6 foot, I can stand in the middle of that. This is, I'm a visual person. I can tell you guys how to visualize what's in there. I can stand in the middle of that blind, reach both of my arms out, and pretty much twirl back and forth, and that'll be 6'1". So I'll just be barely touching the edge.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So we have side entry and then bottom entry. So the bottom entry, there's a ladder that comes up to the floor. There's a trap door. Push it open.
That would be concerning to me because I'm a big dude. How big are the bottom? Like, do you find that makes you claustrophobic? What do you find with having the bottom? Are there advantages or disadvantages? What have you found? It would be really cool to have Miscanthus planted all the way around or in switchgrass on like a 6-foot platform and crawl in the bottom for like super stealth. Or what do you find?
Yeah, that's the people who buy the bottom entry are typically saying, you know, this is an area I need to be really, really sneaky in. I need to grow something really tall around it, like a switchgrass or Miscanthus,
and go right in the
and just
bottom.
go right up the bottom.
Or you could do like you could do round bales around it.
Yeah, totally.
And go right up in it.
Totally. Yeah. One of the things about the bottom entry is that it's a bigger door than the side entry.
Okay.
So it's actually easier to get up into the bottom entry if you're, you know, bigger than average. You know, I'm 5'10". Like
you're like a squirrel, man.
I can get into anything, so that's not really a concern for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had a lot of big dudes get into the side entry, and they're fine. I did have one dude. He was like 6'8". I mean, he was a big dude, and he looked at our side entry. He's like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah,
but he liked the bottom entry.
Okay,
he liked the bottom entry. He was like, I can do that. I can't do that. And granted, how many of your people though are really 6'8" though?
Yeah. So what does that do? Is that flip? Does it flip open when you?
Yep. So it flips back and it rests on the wall there.
Well, so when I was young, I wanted a bottom entry clubhouse.
Yeah.
So all you dads out there that don't want to buy a clubhouse, don't want to build a clubhouse for your kids, I would have been the most elated child if my dad's gone now, but the one thing that my dad never did for me was he told me he was going to build me a clubhouse with a bottom entry trap door. A dad could just get away with buying one of these, doing the playhouse for a year or two, and then taking her out the thing. I'm just saying, I'm coming up with ideas, Christmas presents for the kids. They need a clubhouse.
Oh yeah. Cause I mean, you know, if you were like me growing up, I was sitting in the living room or on the back deck with my toy gun, you know, sitting there just dreaming I was hunting.
Yep.
If I had one of those,
if you have one of those in the backyard, dude, and you were hunting,
I'd have shot my little yellow, you know, toy bow out of the thing and like.
Hey, listen, we're trying to tell you right now, you get one of these neck gens and put it in your backyard. It's going to be cheaper than therapy when they're older. let them go play cops and robbers and deer hunters in the backyard. So next gen, what is it? What does the outside look like? Like gray, black?
It's gray. Yep. It's like a muted, like matte gray.
And then quiet on the inside. How are the windows?
Super quiet. They're so quiet. So the windows are really what sets us apart. So on the deluxe models, which is typically what we sell, they're double pane glass. They're double pane, and it's a slide from the bottom going up.
Okay.
And then we have tension screws on there.
I hate blinds that you have to flip. It's why I use Shadow Hunter. It's why I liked what you're selling. It's why I like the 360s. I just don't like the ones that you got to go closer to the window to grab and flip up and then try to kill a big deer. Most of the giants that I'm hunting, I'm not going to be able to get away with, and I'm slick.
And it's not even that you have to flip it up, but
this one you just grab and push up.
Right. But the flip up blinds, you have to then reach up even further and grab the hook thing and then put it over the window.
Yep.
So it's like you got to flip it all the way up, put it there,
and yours
then
aren't
come
like
back
that.
And now draw back.
Yeah, yours aren't
you set the tension when you get in there, and then when one comes out.
That's what's interesting to me was I was playing with the blind. And I noticed that there was a tension little deal. So like they were really easy. And I'm like, why is this one so hard?
Yeah.
I just dialed that little thing and I was like, oh, they're smarter than I was. And pretty cool. So, well, where would they find you?
Peoria, Illinois. You can look me up on Instagram at Master Plan Wildlife Group. You can give me a shout. My number is 309-424-9437. Shoot me a text, leave me a voicemail. I'll get back.
Where do they find you? Where do they find you on Facebook? Tell them Facebook or Instagram.
So Instagram is Master Plan Wildlife Group. Facebook is just Seth Burnham.
Okay.
And I'm on there, and I haven't
I would spell it
there.
for all of us that don't have good memory sometimes with names.
It's Seth, S-E-T-H, and then Burnham, B-U-R-N-H-A-M. Looks like Burnham.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Well, cool. Is there anything else we're forgetting about today? I didn't want to do too long little podcast, but I didn't want to trap you in here. But it's really easy to do 50 minutes. So you're going to have to come back and do this with me.
We'll do it.
Maybe I can get the Burnham boys or whatever to help us produce this a little bit, add some more cameras, do this more often. And so I mean, I think that's where we're at. You don't have any more turkey tags. Was this 5th season or is this 4th season or what is this?
I think this is the 4th season.
Now.
I still have my landowner tag.
So you might go back out.
So I'll probably go out once or twice before work.
I got my landowner tag. I might try to make it out this week if the weather cooperates. I just got a whole nother load of miscanthus in, so I got about 20,000 miscanthus. I got 3 projects. If people are bored out there and they want to come learn how to plant miscanthus, I welcome you to come throw miscanthus behind the tractor. Yeah, I'm looking to probably buy a 30-foot trailer. If anybody out there is selling a good one, I would love to rent one for about the next 30 days or couple weeks. I just need one that's a little longer than mine. I got a trailer that's about 20 foot and I just want it to be safer. I just want to, man, I wish there was a place you could just rent one for a month that's 30 foot to get these jobs done. I got jobs Fulton County, Schuyler County. Oh man. You want to hand me that little guy right there?
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I've not.
All right. So this is the lowdown. Right here is the lowdown. You guys, lowdown hunter mate from, how do you say that? Wazoo, Wisconsin. I'm going to show it to you.
Wausau?
Wausau, Wisconsin. So this is like a little tablet here. This is lowdown. They are they're what makes this show possible. That bad boy right there. You see all these really cheap viewers at all these mom and pop and box stores. I see them on sale. Nobody buys the little crappy ones because once they have one of these lowdowns, it's a high-speed trail camera viewer, okay? So look on the side when you open that up, and in there you will find the one MasterCard. That's the big card. That's like 100 and I don't forget what it is. It's 100 and something. That's your main hard drive. And then the SD card, like when I have this bad boy, like I wish I would have had it with me when I jumped out and started mushroom hunting yesterday. I didn't have it in the truck. I had it here in the office. When you run through the woods or in your side-by-side or whatever in your pack, you can pull this card. This is the camera card. You pull this card from the camera that you just came upon. Mm-hmm. You know me, I don't use cell cameras. Like obsolete, I use probably 60% cell cameras, and even my cell cameras, I know there's stuff going on that I'm not seeing. So I pull the card when I'm out at the farm. I put it in. I just start tapping and prompts, and I download this card, this 16 or 32 gig card to this 100 and something. And this dumps it on there. I can pull it out. I can format it on here. I can put it right back in my camera. And now everything's dumped to this. And now I get to go home or go to my tree stand, go to my blind and look at all these at will.
That's awesome.
Like this is a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't realize how many times we're in the woods or in our truck or driving by a farm or at a farm or it's raining or we don't have something to do or we're in a food plot anyways. We want to grab that card. How many times have we looked for cards in our truck, in our pockets? Oh man, I forgot my card. I'd really like to pull that card. How many times have we pulled that card and forgot to go back and put that or don't want to invade? So for me, the main reason for this is not only is it like really high quality, fast, but it's got a 9-inch screen. These are like 3 viewing modes. It's got quick view, full view, slideshow, and snapshot, and you can enlarge them. Like the only thing that they haven't done yet is like a Wi-Fi transfer. I think that would be coming. I think anytime things get better, but yeah, man. So this is Lowdown. You can find Lowdown. Let me see if I can find their website. I just look them up on Instagram and like, what do you think about this? That
is awesome. If I had something like that,
right.
Back when I was running only,
that's how I felt about it. Lowdown, LOW down viewer.com, lowdownviewer.com. And it even has I've been wanting to get a TV in here, and it's actually got a cord. that goes right to here. So I can go through in your office or in the camp, and I can show these deer all in this card. But that's the lowdown. It's pretty awesome. And then there's the new switchgrass seed. I saw you checking it out before the show. White gold, whitegolddeerfeed.com. So white gold is where I get my seed. And the reason I do is I just haven't been able to find a place that's had the quality that White Gold has had with the level that they operate out of Michigan. It's family run, Johnson Elevators. White Gold is all, packaged there and done everything. And they, me with like freshness of seed, there's a lot of good seeds out there, a lot of good blends out there. But when you see it all over the shelves at every farm store and every Bass Pro and every whatever, I'm a little leery. I've been in the game a long time. I know that some of that stuff doesn't get there fresh.
Yeah.
To me, I want the freshest. I want it to my door. And so White Gold does to the door. So right here, you guys get ready for, hopefully you got your clover in, but this is my Fort Knox switchgrass blend. If you want to read what's in there, Seth, I'm going to grab the October Magic. And so this is just, you can just read it as Chris Brackett's LandLife. Tell people what it looks like and what it is.
So it's Cave and Rock switchgrass. There's RC Big Rock, and then there's Tecumseh switchgrass. Tecumseh.
Well, we can tell you're not Indian.
Yeah, well, I'm not. So, and I won't claim it either.
No. So as an experience, let me grab that guy back. This Fort Knox switchgrass. So you are a new switchgrasser.
Yep.
3 years ago, we put yours in. We put in 3 years. We just burned it down and put it in, and then
it was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was pretty naive when I bought the seed. I just went down to Kelly Seed and I said, "Hey, I want switchgrass," and they said, "Well, here's some switchgrass."
Yep.
And I honestly lucked out because it turned out really good.
Yeah, I mean, while you're in the bottoms, we put it in correctly.
Yeah.
We went into a lot of competition, but you controlled that competition in the second year.
Yeah.
I think if I had to tell people, I'm like, 1, buy quality seed.
Yep.
Number 2, buy something that somebody like. Those are 3 great seeds.
Yeah.
You can buy Cave in Rock, you can buy Real World, you can buy all this stuff, but most of it's going to come down to just, things that those three blends, they're going to look really good.
Yeah.
And I think if you get 3 pounds to the acre to stand and you plant it, that bag is 6 pounds ish.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that, you can buy one of those bags of Fort Knox and have 1 acre in one bag, really easy to buy.
Yeah.
I think that gets a lot of people freaked out. Is like, I don't know how much to buy.
Well, and another thing that gets people is they try and plant it too thick.
They try to plant it too thick. I'm one of those guys.
7 to 12. I talked to a guy the other day who wanted to plant 14 pounds per the acre. And I said, whoa, slow down, bro.
And and the only reason you knew to plant because I had already planted and you had already helped me quinclorac and 2,4-D my switch and take out all the bad stuff, which actually I'm trying to put cool season grasses pockets back into my switch because I have a monoculture of, but it's now listen, it is still the most beautiful switchgrass I've ever seen in my life. And it has no weeds in it, but now I'm trying to go back and add some cool season pockets and stuff like that because now my deer are really chill. And now I want them to come back out and, go to these little cool season pockets. So, about my favorite clover rush and about my gold strike clovers. My clovers are my babies. But this is my new one, man. This is one I want you to try this year. This is the October Magic. I'd love to have you go ahead and read it on there of what's in there because I think you're going to be excited.
We got double barrel Milo, which I'm really excited.
Milo and sorghum,
I'm
same
real
thing.
excited about the Milo and sorghum this year.
So cool.
And
it's going to be a drought year. Like El Nino, it's always a drought year, but you got the El Nino or whatever. So you can grow sorghum and Milo with big heads, planted early, controlling the weeds, and get a lot of tonnage for food and then for turkeys, but deer. That's why it's the October Magic. And then you've got the kind of the fun stuff going in there as you get down on the list.
Yeah. So you got winter peas, you got soybeans, you got turnips, and then you got radishes. That's a heck of a mix
all together. One of the guys online, when I was telling people about it, they were like, that sounds like a really good blend not to have any of the heads of the sorghum or milo turn up. And I'm like, well, listen, one, we're spoiled in Illinois. Number two, you better make sure your pH is right.
Yeah.
And number three, if it looks like your plants are struggling a little bit, about halfway through the season, walk through with a bag spreader or run it over with your 4-wheeler and your spreader and give it some nitrogen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just feed it. If it looks like it's lagging and it's a little thick together, give it some food. Give it some food, and it'll come on. But I don't think so. I think what happens is I think the soybeans in there read that it has competition. We're not going for a soybean pod on this. We're going for a soil builder, a nitrogen builder with the big leaves and the green stuff, and then have some pods. Yeah. And then the peas will definitely pod out. But the peas crawl up because they like to go around. They'll go up the sorghum.
Well, you know where you're at though, right? You're one step away from a crimper.
Oh no.
You're one step away from a crimper, Chris.
I'm Captain Forbes. No. I mean, I can see how crimping works.
It works. I'm telling you. I've when I was down in
So tell me how it works.
Dude.
So if I planted this mix,
I have never seen more rocks before in my life than when I was down in
What's a crimper do though?
So if you just cut your grass, it comes back. Right?
Okay.
So if you roll over rye that's ready to be crimped, so it's right at the dough stage. So if you peel,
you're already over all of our heads.
If you peel that back and you get down to the bare seed,
peel what back?
If you peel the husk back,
okay,
and you get down to the bare seed and you squish it a little bit, there should be some moisture. So you're out just a little bit.
So here's the part that he's missing. Here's why Grant Woods or you training from him, y'all passed up 98% of my listeners and my expert, but. One, I don't know what a dough is. Number two, I don't know what you're talking about going out there to the wheat husk because I've never paid attention to it. That's it. It's just super simple. I've never walked out to the stuff in my front yard right now that is probably not far away from your little thing you're talking about. Probably in the next 2 weeks.
End of May.
Around. And we're early this year.
It could be different this year.
And so if I went out there, and I grab that sucker, you're telling me that I'll be able to tell. So, like, I think that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
Okay. Crimper, no-till, beans after this. Like, that's literally where I'm at. But I don't know how to determine when that is. And it looks like it's such a small window. And so I think what it comes down to is my listeners and myself barely have time to catch up to all their stuff. And it's a lot easier for me to get a sprayer and spray anytime between March and June and spray everything and kill everything and then try to till something up or throw something in the ground. So I think I think you got to get them there, but maybe I am at the point where I could do a crimper, but how am I going to travel with it? So you're just telling me that the crimper terminates.
So it breaks the stem. It cuts the stem in like, a dozen different places all the way up the stem. So it hurts it bad enough to cut off the circulatory system of that plant. And if you hit it at the right time, it won't stand back up and it'll die.
Okay.
So it'll be terminated. And then
which keeps water and moisture in the ground.
Yep. And that it's mulch.
It's mulch.
You know
like
how mulch
throwing
works.
Down straw.
Yeah. It's what it is.
So it's the same. Is it essentially the same as when I throw down a bunch of seed and then mow?
No.
Why?
Because the mowing it, you're not gonna have a thick enough layer. Because I've tried that, and ultimately with the rye, if you mow it down to the ground, it chews it up, and you have spots that are covered, spots that aren't. If you crimp it, you have total coverage.
I think
so. It's about the actual mass of it.
I think as a person thinking through that, I would say it's pushing it down also. Some type of weight in there would be part of that equation. You'd crimp it, but you're also taking this big, heavy bladed thing.
Yeah. You could crush it with the bucket of your tractor. I've done that before.
Same thing.
Sort of. Yeah. I'd spray it out and then crush it.
Yeah, but it has to do something with the compact. Let's compact all this green material. Let's
Yeah.
kill it and compact this green material on top of. But that is really where I think Grant just loses some of us, but he has a good enough clientele that likes his stuff and whatever. But me and Grant went and hunted the same farm. If we went and hunted the same farm, we would not be after the same thing. But when we came back to the same camp, drinking lemonade, an iced tea, kicking back, listening for turkeys to gobble or whatever, we're on the same team. I don't think we go after the same things in the field. To me, he would go in a little deeper than what I would want, how I would hunt. You know, me, I hunt way on the outside and I would hunt longer or whatever.
It's a completely different style.
Completely different style. But I think you come back and you're sitting on the front porch and you're drinking some Arnold Palmer's or whatever, and you're hanging out, you're on the same team and you have some great conversations and whatever. So I'm about the synergy of it all. I feel like I'm in a super business meeting saying the hot word synergy, but so I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong, but I don't have 1,000 acres.
That's true.
And only plant that.
Yeah.
I have my sanctuary acres that I experiment, but I'm experimenting as a guy that has this budget to execute this with sometimes minimal, like you don't have a no-till yet right now, right?
No, I do.
Oh, you bought the cut down one?
Yeah.
You bought the cut down one, but you don't have a GPH outdoors or anything yet? Okay.
No. I wish.
Well, baby steps.
Yeah.
You're a youngster.
Well, that's why I got the drill that I have.
Well, I mean, if these guys are going to buy blinds from this guy, he can get this other drill. No. So, okay. But yeah, I mean, I think that they're all in steps. So for me, it was like, I didn't have a no-till drill for 15 years of food plotting. Now I have one. Now we have a second backup on this farm, that's Kirk's, but it's fun to understand the struggle and the sacrifice to get there.
Yeah.
But understand that, I'm trying to, a lot of times I'm like right now at my farm, I don't have a working disc because my strong point isn't replacing these it's a sealed bearing that I can't lube it up. And these bearings went bad on this Plotmaster thing. I don't have the tools at the time. Nobody gives me tools to go, hey, here's your strong point. Here, fix this piece of machinery. That's just not what I'm good at. So I actually tried to order from Plotmaster. Kevin Boyer tried to get me with the owners of Plotmaster and whatever. I've tried to reach out to these people. They made it so hard for me to get these bearing systems for this disc. So I don't even have a disc. I'm gonna have to till all my acreage to get my nitrogen to get my corn in and stuff. It's tough out there trying to figure out how to do it all yourself. And then you call experts like us.
Have you seen that liquid nitrogen that Deer Grow's putting out?
Yep. Deer Grow. Yep. The Jeremy, I talked to Jeremy about that, but for corn, I think I would just have to use too much of it. They would have to send me a whole bunch for me to try it, because the only reason that I don't have liquid nitrogen show up from like Walter's Ag or something in Farmington, it is I don't want them to accidentally burn my miscanthus and my other stuff around there. So I have to do it myself. So the easiest way I've found is to grab 5 bags per acre of 4600, put it down on top of my old corn stalks from last year, get the tiller or the disc, work that in the ground so the nitrogen doesn't evaporate. Get that bad boy down. At the same time, figure out, okay, what pre-emerge am I going to use? Am I going to use Acheron, or am I going to use atrazine, or am I going to use simazine or something? Put down a pre-emerge at the same time, burning it down, and then not really no-till, but then put in my corn at 30,000, 32,000, and then just go, and it'll grow great. Sometimes I'll even hit it again with a 4600, about half stage, foot tall or whatever, with my side-by-side or whatnot. But I did find a lot of information while riding around with Jeremy from Hunter Podcast in telling me about that and the plot boost and all the stuff. We put a bunch in the tank of, to me, it's more the pH, lime, stuff because I know the fertilizer to me isn't as big a deal as it is the lime. I just think people are off. They need to understand the lime lime first, and then fertilize maybe second. But most people just need to be liming it up.
Well, so here, one of the things about the crimping and stuff that people don't necessarily understand, and we can go deeper in this another time, but you're allowing the soil to use the nitrogen that's already in there. Because there's an absurd amount of, I'm not even going to take a guess, of nitrogen in the air that sits right above your ground.
I agree.
And if
trapping it in.
Yep. And so if you're able to allow the microbes and all of those things that are in the soil naturally,
all of that's true,
then you won't have to say, oh, well, I need a disc to go and disc up my field so I can go buy nitrogen. So I can go buy, these different fertilizers, because it's all there anyway.
And my listener is still trying to afford their first 4-wheeler with a spreader.
That's fair.
That's it. And my job in this world is to go, hey, I think I understand the crimping. If not, I got guys that do. Yeah. But here, let me get the first guy that maybe just never did a food plot.
Yeah.
My goal is to turn people into food plotters.
Yeah.
To maybe one day crimp.
Yeah.
But my job is to talk to the masses, anybody listening, and to say, buy this clover and buy this alfalfa clover mix.
Yeah.
Go out in March, go out in February, go out in January.
Yeah.
Have your kids throw it down, buy extra, put it down, and you don't have to do anything to it till right now at the end of turkey season. You killed a turkey, you're done. Go spray it with IMOX, go mow it, and you got a clover plot for the rest of your life. Yeah. Dude, thanks for being here. See, it's fun. You should come back. That was an hour and 12 minutes listening to LandLife, Chris Brackett's LandLife, episode 25, Turkey Down.
And we didn't even talk about the turkey down.
We didn't even talk about the turkey down, dude. I mean, balk. They come running right in. So he was hunting this morning, and literally I texted him and I was like, hey, you ready to go after one? And he's like, there's one hammering over here. And I said, it's Illinois, late season. Don't call much. Give him a couple calls and then shut up. And he's like, the last time he gobbled, he's closer. And I'm like, he's coming in. Don't say anything. He's coming to the clover. This clover is sitting right here on the desk, coming to the clover plot. He just did his thing with the Jake, right?
He did it. He did what he needed to do.
Now you get to have turkey nuggets.
There we go.
Well, let me take this bad boy back, show him your wife, and we still got time to make it to church. So, all right, you're the best, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Check us out, everybody. Facebook, Instagram. This is on Spotify, YouTube, if you're watching it, and then iTunes. I'm Chris Brackett. Peace out.